Hello and welcome to Map Your Learner Journey. My name is Joan Sutherland and I'm going to take you through how to actually do this as part of the ALEX design mapping process. So, what is a learner journey map? So learner journey maps actually come from the UX discipline and it comes from the customer journey mapping process. So what I've done on screen here, although you can't see the intricate details of it, I've provided you with some templates that can be found at Miro. And what you can see is there's different levels of detail here and different representations, but they're both visual representations of touch points that the customer has at different points with a company. Okay, one is timeline based and one is a map with different post-its looking at the personas as well and the different types of customers that you may have. So you can see that there's different levels of detail, but the idea remains the same, to understand how the customer interacts with your particular brand. Now, what this does from a designer's perspective, it enables you to empathize with the customer and their pain points. Okay, how can you negate those pain points? How can you eliminate them? How can you make it a better experience for the learner? What thoughts and feelings are they experiencing at different touch points? What does a learner journey map look like? Again, they look so different and how you do it is up to you, okay? The learner journey map does the exact same thing, but instead of a brand product per se, the product is a learning experience here. So you're looking at, okay, what is the journey of the learner through and what they're learning? The great thing with learner journey maps is you can map the whole learner journey or you can map part of it, looking at particular sections and honing in on that space, okay? It can take a long time, but it doesn't have to, depending upon the need. Now, I'm looking at it from the ALEX design process, and that doesn't need to take long. So why would you create a learner journey map? Now, according to Salesforce, if you have a single bad customer experience, it takes 12 positive ones to make up for it. Now, could you imagine how much work that would take? So what we want to do is make customers the number one priority. So switch that to a learning context, it's the learner that's the priority. So just imagine it in that learner context. If it's a short course, a learner might not complete it, or they might continue doing other courses not with you, okay? So there is a cost to not adopting that learner perspective. This journey map will enable you to do that and help you along that process, and it feeds into learner personas, which we're going to delve into further in the next post. It gives you insights in the realities of their overall journey. So remember, the learner journey starts way before they start the actual learning in a course or a module. So it's important to be aware of that holistic map, so then you can gain insights into what their experience at particular points in time and where you can help a process or you might be hindering a process, but how you can design for that. Also, opportunities for improvement. Iterate, iterate, iterate. Puts a learner at the center and enables you to make improvements on the learner experience as part of your design. So how do you map the learner journey? Again, it can be as simple or as complex as you like, and depending upon your context, the learner journey you may be able to develop, it might be in isolation, or it might be as part of a teaching team. Okay, so you might be part of a small business and you're developing short courses. You can look at a simplistic map. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Remember, the aim of the map is to inform your design, okay? So don't just do it for doing its sake. It's going to help you with your design. You want to identify opportunities where you can collaborate with others. Critical friends are great, but teaching teams, if you've got other people that are educators, that get your educators together and develop this together. Create efficiencies and see how you can impact the learner experience. So what I'm going to take you through is just quickly two scenarios. In a first scenario, accredited course where the learner needs to complete 3 units to be deemed competent. What does that look like? What does the map look like more so? A non-accredited short course where the learner can complete a module and receive a certificate. Again, I recommend Miro. Miro is a great software, but I'm just going to show you some basic examples here. So map the learner journey. Let's take an example of an accredited course. 3 units that make up a course. So the learner enrolls. They get a confirmation on their phone with a checklist of what they need to do. Let's say they get an email to confirm they're enrolled, gets a telephone call to welcome them to the course. They complete their first unit and they get a certificate of completion. Next, they go to unit 2 and 3 and they do these simultaneously. They finish both of those simultaneously and they get a certificate upon completion. Then they get an email. Now, obviously, there's administrative considerations of how you communicate with the learner, but if you're looking at the experience within the course, how can this help you in your design? So imagine the 3 units are being developed in isolation, okay? So rather than the educators coming together and working collaboratively, let's say they're done in isolation. So every educator is choosing their own software, the look and feel, the methods of assessment, and the different types of communication. Think about how this would feel from a learner experience perspective. But imagine if you worked with different educators that are facilitating those different units, and make sure you have consistency. Look at what experience are you having in relation to the software? So which software are you using, and can you create efficiencies by using the same software for different purposes across the different units? How are you developing the assessment? Is there commonalities that you can leverage off of each other? How are the connections created and maintained throughout? So we have a phone call at the beginning, but where is that connection, and how is that maintained through to completion? The look and feel of resources, often there's different templates running about, but how can you create consistency across the units for that experience? And what are the methods of communication within each of the units? Okay, that's really important, so then the learner knows what to expect. So upon completion, they get an email. Is there a better way to do this? Assessment across the 3, how are they receiving feedback, formative and summative? So there are a number of questions that you can ask yourself in relation to the design. Scenario 2, okay? This just shows, I just did it on Post-it notes and a flip chart, just to show it doesn't need to be perfect, yeah? You can use Miro, you can use PowerPoint, you can use any software you want, but you just need to know that you just need the map. Okay, so in this example here, the learner visits the website, selects the course, pays for the course, gets access to the course, completes 3 modules within the course. We have module 1, module 2, module 3. In this instance, it's locked, so they have to go through it in a particular sequence. Then they get an email of completion, and then they're shown the other courses. Course 1's grayed out because they've completed that, and then what they can choose is course 2, and then they go back, pay, and then they get the module again, or they can exit the platform. Okay, so with this map, what does it highlight? Just looking at it, it's very automated. It's asynchronous, self-paced. That's great, but how would the learner think and feel during this process? Where are the opportunities for connection to your brand, to you? What's in it for the learner? Are you building a community? Where's that sense of community? Okay, so what makes them want to click and do another course and then pay for another course? Okay, so these are things that you can embed in your design. So look at the how you're going to facilitate connection. Maybe you'll have some synchronous sessions within there. Yes, asynchronous can be set and forget, but is that the best for a learner experience? I don't know. So in summary, mapping a learning journey is a visual representation of the learning journey. Doesn't matter how it looks, as long as you've got the map off of it, okay? It can be as complex as simple as you like. Don't overcomplicate it. It is a map. Yes, you can go into the depths in relation to thoughts and feelings at every stage of the process, but you don't have to map the whole experience. You can do that as part of an educator team, but you don't have to. Adopt a learner experience perspective. This is what it's all about, and personas will feed into this. It will give you insights into pain points and challenges that you may face, and then gauge the opportunities for improvement and how you can embed these opportunities for improvement in your design. I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the next one, we're going to look at personas.